I just got done watching Cobra Kai Season 5, and this is going to be my non-spoiler review for the brand new season premiering this week on Netflix. And I have a lot of thoughts because overall, Cobra Kai still remains to be an awesome show in every single way that you have expected it to be from season 1, and I've thoroughly enjoyed every single season. Some seasons are better than others, some seasons get a little bit too deep, and some seasons, like this one, are a little bit messy at times. And I do think overall this is probably the messiest season yet when it comes down to execution on story and pacing. But other than that, I still again find the season to be awesome and enjoyable, specifically when it starts to find its footing. Now, this again is a non-spoiler review, so I am going to be a bit vague when it comes down to certain elements like that, because there are twists and turns and elements in here that you do not want to be spoiled on. But with any other movie review and TV review, I love starting talking about the pros, and I'm about to talk about that. But I do want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section, so make sure to leave your thoughts. Who's your favorite character from Cobra Kai and the Karate Kid world? And in general, guys, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. If you enjoy movie and TV content like this, I review something every single day, and I'm happy to have you guys along for the ride. Like I mentioned, let's start talking about the pros, and one of the biggest things that always comes out to be is the cast. This cast of Cobra Kai is just stacked, and every single person really comes to play. In particular, for me, this season, I really found that Chosen, who we found at the end of last season, was getting flown out here. He's coming up to team up with LaRusso himself. And for me, I found Chosen to be one of, if not my favorite character throughout this entire season. I loved him. I loved the development that they really gave to him. And I truly feel really much that they developed this character to such a high standard that when you go back and watch the karate film that he came into, you're going to understand his character a little bit more. And again, it was so great to see his relationship with LaRusso come about to here. And again, LaRusso, what can you say more about this character? Ralph Macchio is just perfect in this role, and he continues to be. He's fleshing out this role and giving a lot more development, and their chemistry with one another, fantastic. Johnny, of course, let's talk about William Zabaka and his performance as Johnny. Now, Johnny Lawrence actually has a really unique entire storyline here. And that's where I'll talk about the storyline in a little bit, but I really love what they've started to do with Johnny in this season, in particular how they kind of settled him down, kind of gave him this new dynamic. I haven't seen from Lawrence yet, and again, was a star-studded thing. When it comes down to the rest of the people, whether it's Jacob Bertrand as Eli, who's always been a big standout, and I love the Hawk, I think he's just badass. Tanner Buchanan as Robbie Keenan, I think there was a lot of developments there, finally moving past this angsty teenager, and I'm so happy they moved past that, as well as Zolo, who plays the main character, Miguel Diaz. And for me, when it comes down to Zolo, I've always loved Miguel, and again, there's been always this drama between some of the kids that I found in the last two seasons to be a little bit too cringy and just kind of eye-rolling, and again, enjoyable, but I just found myself going, okay, come on, let's move past this. Some of these storylines are getting a little bit too repetitive, and thankfully, I'm really happy to see that this season starts to tie up a lot of those elements that, again, felt cringy or repetitive. And this, maybe there's one or two sequences here where I'm like, okay, we've seen this all before, but it never repeats into a repetitive manner. And some of these kids start to handle it in a more mature way. And I was really happy to see that, specifically with LaRusso's daughter, Samantha. I think Samantha got a lot of great elements in here to work with. Of course, Peyton List as Tori is just phenomenal in here as well. I think, again, this cast is what really makes this show work and keeps it to be enjoyable each and every time. But you know what they also do is they continue to be damn badasses. And Martin Kove as John Kreese. Loved his storyline throughout here. Thomas Ian Griffith is just awesome as the villain. As being the main villain for the central entire season, he is amazing and kills it. And when you have an amazing villain in our list of heroes that we love going about and seeing them clash and face throughout the entire season through not just, of course, action sequences, which the action sequences are top-notch, and I will say the finale for this entire season, hands down, has my favorite fight sequence yet throughout this entire show. And that's saying a lot because we had the whole school showdown and everything like that, but this really much felt like a grand and great build up to it all, and specifically in the way that they kind of just get to that point. And Thomas Ian Griffin and everyone in there really comes to play. And the adults, for me, I really love how this season again focuses in on and splits the kids and the adults really down the middle, giving them both enough time. And it never felt like it was I feel like in later seasons, they've really much more focused on the kids than the adults, and I was happy to see that they really gave them both the same amount of time that they really needed to develop both their stories, and that's something important there. Because when you have these action sequences, you have to build up to those points, and I was happy to be so invested in those. Plus, the score. The score, for the first time, I've really started to notice how badass it is, in particular in those action moments and the way that they were really able to develop them all. But let's talk about why I think this season is the messiest of them all. This, again, is still an awesome season. I found Cobra Kai Season 5 to just continue the awesomeness itself. But why is this season messy? Comes down to the storyline. At the end of last season, we saw Miguel leave to Mexico to find his father. And I found that storyline went nowhere. I was a bit disappointed with that. I don't think they focused in on enough at all. I felt it was a little bit rushed to really much get us back to where we need to be to focus in on bring on Cobra Kai. And I found that to be, again, just messy. Like, the pacing of this show felt messy, and I feel like the episodes are around 35 to 48 minutes long. These episodes should be either longer, or they needed to cut out some of these storylines, or either further them out. And I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if they have a season 7 plan and they just knew that season 6 might be the last one, and that's why they had to scramble all this big storyline in here. But it feels like that once we get to the midpoint of this entire season, the show shifts. And that shift is what makes this season awesome and has some of the best moments of the entire show. But that first 5 episodes really took a while to find its footing. And while we have such a big cast, looking at, of course, Peyton List, who I think is great as Tori, we didn't get enough of her. And there's a couple characters in there where, again, I like how they split it down the line, but there's certain special storylines that just, again, feel rushed, and they never really go anywhere into particular, and I just wish they would have focused in on a little bit more on that. But besides the messiness, if you're a Cobra Kai fan, you're not going to be disappointed in this season. You're still going to find it awesome. You're still going to have fun with it. You're still going to have some great moments, some humorous ones, some awesome action sequences. And in general, it's the same Cobra Kai you've been expecting, but in the same way, it's also a more matured Cobra Kai that starts to grow with its characters, grow with its story arcs. And while even the story can be a little bit, messy, rushed at times, I found myself fully invested with all these characters once again, and I cannot wait for a season 6 of Cobra Kai. So with all that said, I'm going to give season 5 a B+. Thank you once again, guys, for watching this. You guys are really all the best. Make sure to leave your thoughts down below. Hit that like and subscribe button and comment your thoughts once again. But of course, guys, until next time, stay classy.